How many models is too many models? Or rather, should I say, when manufacturers run out of ideas and start copying each other. That's another way to look at it, isn't it? We've got a Bachmann announcement that's come through, and they're making a Class 31. You know, the same Class 31 that Accruascale have made, and that Hornby have made 2 models of. So now we've got a 4th version to pick from. Let's have a little chat about that, shall we? We've also got a few layout updates, and we take a little trip to DCC Concepts for a little treat. Right then, so a few weeks ago, I think it was a few weeks ago, might have even been last week, I did a little giveaway competition. Once I hit 2,000 subscribers, yeah, you mean, I offered the...
Don't know who wants to listen.
No, I don't know who to listen to me either. I offered a chance to win a £25 gift voucher, and viewers of last week's episode will have seen that Lee at Hillside Junction was very lucky enough to have received that. So the voucher's on his way to Lee this week. Now, I offered £25, but Richard at DCC Concepts has kindly offered to step up, and if you'd like to say,
We have
Richard,
increased the offer to you to a voucher of £100, Lee. Okay, so your voucher that you have won is now £100.
£100, Lee, and you can put that towards. What can you put that towards,
Well,
Richard?
anything you want. We've got the universal things that everyone knows us for, like the Cobalt Point motors, the Zen decoders.
Yeah.
We've also got the new Aegis system,
The
which I
power
know
card.
you're keen to get your hands
I
on
am,
and have
yes,
to play
indeed,
with, so I'll
absolutely,
sort that out for you sometime.
Very good.
I might have to ask for it back.
That's
Unless
fine.
you want to pay for it.
Well,
No.
either way.
So you can use the Aegis system, you can use any of our accessories and tools, you can do the platform lighting. There's look, we've got nearly 600 lines here that you can use this voucher on. You can use it at any of our shows, you can use it online on our website, you can call us and use it, so yeah.
Can you use it at a deal, or does it have to be
No,
with
it
you?
has to be
Has
with
to be you
DCC
guys.
Concepts. So
But you
yes.
can use it online, not on the website.
Yeah, you can use it
So
online on the
brilliant.
website. Yeah,
Excellent.
100%. Yeah.
Excellent. Richard, that's all.
Thank you very much.
Very much.
Congratulations, Lee.
Congratulations, Lee.
Brilliant.
So before we crack on with all the rest of the video, it's just a few little updates and things for how the layout's gone. I've extended this little siding, which will be a fueling point for the goods yard. I've skimmed the surface of the foam, see the foam there, with a good old-fashioned polyfiller, and this will sand down and that'll make a nice surface area for the goods yard. I've also put it in the track, so the track has got that nice compacted, bedded in dirt and mud look you get. Obviously it needs weathering, so that'll happen as and when is appropriate. There's a little bit of track weathering there, just trying out different methods, different techniques, seeing what looks right for end scale. So there we are. Really pleased with how that bridge has turned out, looking good. We've got Professor Pikachu on guard. I'm experimenting with a bridge, scenic divide. Not sure whether to do a full bridge or a grassy area or something. I mean, I don't want to just have the standard tunnel portal separating the first half from the second half. I want something a little bit different if I can. If not, and I can't think of anything, then of course it'll be the default tunnel that everyone has everywhere else. Another thing I'm hoping to do is look at showing you how to do a distance mount on a point motor. Now these surface mount pointers work brilliantly, but notice here I've sort of hidden one, and from up above you can quite clearly see there's a point motor there, but from operating level it hides itself really well and you can't see where it is, and that is about my head height when I'm sat in my chair, so that is absolutely fine. We could probably do a bit more with it there, but you get the point. But what if there's a space on your layout where you can't mount the surface by a point motor And underneath the layout, we've got this battening here. So, you see that there? And that's right where the point motor needs to go. So, you can't mount an underboard motor, and you might not be able to mount a surface mounted point motor. So what I'm going to do next week, hopefully, if I can get the tubing, I'm going to show you how to do a distance mounted point motor thing. And the benefit of having the foam is we can just melt or cut out a channel for the rodding, and it makes it much easier. So that's it for the layout updates this week. Very brief, very simple, very quick. Let's have a chat about this Class 31 situation, shall we? We have been here before. Bachmann versus Accruascale. They both had a Class 37, which came out at a similar time to each other. Both really good models, and yet the Bachmann version arguably didn't do as well as the Accruascale version. For, I'm going to say one main reason. There may have been a few others, but the main reason would be the price. With their January announcements that they're bringing out another Class 31. Now, there's already several Class 31s available. Hornby have got two, although the main range one is an older tooling now, and the railroad version isn't aimed at the same customer that the Accruascale model and the Bachmann model will be aimed at. So we're just going to pop that to one side for the time being. So, will this end up being a massive waste of time for our friends over at Bachmann? Now, don't get me wrong, a little bit of competition is a good thing to have. It keeps manufacturers on the toes, and it stops us as modelers and consumers from having subpar products at inflated prices. Whether or not prices are already inflated is for another video. Moving on. Hopefully, that won't be the case for Bachmann. However, based on what I know from my experience with the Accruascale 37 and the Bachmann 37, the Accruascale one was a grand slam. Not just on price. The pricing was obviously a lot more attractive on the Accruascale version, and it looks like the Accruascale version will still have the edge in the Class 31 market. I haven't got one. I have no plans on getting one on either of them. This is just my 2 pence, if you will. And I certainly don't think Bachmann are doing the whole let's jump on the coattails of success thing and copy Hornby and copy Accruascale because they've had a good response with their versions of this model, so we want ours as well. I don't think that's the case. Tooling takes a very long time to develop and make and put to market and test and things. So this model will have already been in production for a long time. Probably at least as long as the Accruascale version, if not longer, because Bachmann tend to announce models as they're ready to come to market, whereas a lot of these newer, smaller companies, Accruascale, Rapido, etc., they announce a model and then it's 2, 3, 4 years later, and in Hornby's case, they sometimes don't even appear. So we can probably expect the Bachmann unit to arrive at market first. Now, when the Accruascale 37 came out, that landed a lot sooner than the Bachmann one did. And I'm wondering if that had more of an effect on the success of the model than just the price. Getting to market sooner is worth a lot. It's worth so much to have a head start on your competitors. And if Bachmann can get their 31 and 30 out as soon as possible before the Accruascale version lands, it's going to be a close call. It really is. And we all know Bachmann's RRPs are a little bit lofty, shall we say. So I don't know if people are going to rush out and buy a Bachmann 31 at full RRP. I personally have never bought a Bachmann product at full RRP. They have always been discounted. Now, you could well argue that if a company brings out a product and their product never ever sells as RRP, it's always discounted by a minimum of 10%, then you could argue that the starting price for that is that reduced price. And they have no intention of ever selling any at full RRP. It just makes it look, to a little brain, it makes it look more of a bargain because, ooh, it's on sale. Not the case. They never intended to sell it for, say, £300-400. It was always going to be sold at £290, £310, whatever the price may be. I've not looked into it just yet. I probably will do at some point, but I don't really think it's massively relevant. I don't think if they reduce the price enough, it's going to make much of a difference. Getting to market first will though. Getting to market first before Accruascale and everyone else will help a lot. Now, Hornby have got a couple of versions of the Class 31 as well. They've got a main range version, which is a bit longer in the tooth now, and they've got the railroad version. Now, as I mentioned earlier in the video, it's not for the same customer. The railroad version, which I've seen, I've had a play with one of those models, it's actually quite a charming little thing. It's not bad, but it's not the same level as what we expect from Bachmann and Accruascale. But then again, it's 90 quid. So you've still got a choice when it comes to a 31 and a 37, to be fair with you, because they do a railroad version of that as well. But if, like me, you're not a fan of traction tyres and things, and the railroad one isn't even a contender, it's not an option for you. So you have to bear that in mind as well. Now, I know Bachmann have gone and put a fancy new automatic uncoupler on their locomotive. I don't think that's enough to sway people from the Accruascale version. Most people either have a magnetic uncoupling system anyway, there's already within their layouts, or people just uncouple manually, and some people don't bother at all. Especially if you run fixed rake trains and using something like the Hunt magnetic couplings, which are fantastic for long fixed trains. There's no reason to have an automatic uncoupler. So again, is it going to be enough? I don't know if this is. I'm not sure. I don't know. I don't know if this if the 31 from Bachmann's going to get anywhere for them. I don't think they're going to see a clear-cut victory with this one. I think it's going to be very, very close. Absolutely, very, very close between Accruascale and Bachmann. Hornby, with all respect, aren't even in the race. They're at the sidelines watching on with their flag, if you will. So we'll have to wait and see for that one. As I said, tooling takes time to develop. It stands to reason. Bachmann have been at this for a while. They've announced it this January, so we're probably going to see it in the next 2 to 3 months. That's what usually happens. Now, speaking of tooling, we all know Hartland's saga went pop recently. That's been covered to death by everyone and his dog. But the question remained of what happening with their tooling. They had their Genesis coaches, and they had their Class 66, and they had a few steam engines and what have you. Now, Accruascale have actually acquired tooling for the 2 steam engines. I don't know what they were off the top of my head. I really don't. I'm not a massive fan of steam engines. There were 2 little tank engines. Accruascale have grabbed them up. Now, they're probably going to do what Accruascale always do in this situation, which is look at the tooling, make improvements to make them in line with what they already offer, and then just make a production run and bring them to market. I know Rails have picked up the Genesis coaches, which would be nice to see those coming out again. But focusing on the locomotives, Accruascale earlier purchased the Class 66 tooling long before Hatton's announced that they were going to step back from being a competitor in the model railway market. Some say that was the first red flag for Hattons. Now, of course, there is absolutely no way to prove any of this, and it is largely just rumour mill things. But I'm fairly confident if you look at the pieces, and you could be forgiven for arriving at this conclusion. Was it Hatton's plan all along to just step out months and months ago? And did Accruascale know about that? Okay, again, we don't know. And I'm not saying yes, I'm not saying no. I'm just saying it looks a little bit off, if you will. But it's nice that the toolings have found a home, and Accruascale will obviously do well with them and everything else. It's a strange one. I'm not so sure. But what do you folks think? Is it just a massive coincidence that Hattons went pop, Accruascale stepped in and bought a 66, and then a few months later they went pop, and then they've gone and got the rest of the locomotive toolings as well? Was the time period between the 2 things, between the 2 toolings being sold, just a matter of negotiation? Or who knows really? I suppose we'll never truly know, will we, what really happened. Of course, what we are told by the people that are leaving the game, and what is actually the real reason for them leaving the game, quite often, possibly not the same thing. We only know what we've been told. As always though, good people, I want to know what your thoughts are. Are you looking forward to the Hatton 31? Are you looking forward to the Bachmann 31? Are you a fan of the humble Hornby Railroad 31? Let me know what you've got, how it runs, or what your plans are for coming months for buying one of these 31s or 30s or whatever. Whatever tickles my pickle. So, until next week guys, you take very good care of yourselves and I'll see you all later on. Cheers now, bye bye.
Congratulations, Lee.
Congratulations, Lee.
Brilliant.
I won.